For more than 30 years, gynecologist Dr. George Tyndall saw patients at the University of Southern California campus clinic. And according to multiple lawsuits filed against the school, for much of that time, Tyndall was sexually molesting patients with immunity. Many of the victims reportedly were Chinese students who were targeted by Tyndall because of their unfamiliarity with Western medical exams and also were too fearful to speak out. Lucy Chi is part of a lawsuit against USC. She was examined by Tyndall in 2012 when she was a graduate student.
When the story first broke, I remember looking at the headline and saying, oh my God, Dr. Tyndall was my doctor. And then I read the article and I said, he did those things to me. You know, he sexually abused me.
Lucy never reported her experience with Tyndall because of fear.
I was really afraid if I stepped out, no one would believe me, and they would say it was my fault. But I think seeing all of these women come forward because of the Me Too and the Time's Up movement, it gave me the courage to come and tell my story myself.
John Manley is representing Chi and several dozen women in lawsuits against USC, which put the blame squarely on the university for turning a blind eye to the allegations of abuse, even though complaints were filed by students and clinic workers.
What we now know is that beginning in 1988, USC was well aware from multiple complaints from multiple women who didn't know each other that he was engaging in inappropriate conduct and sexual conduct, and in many instances, sexual crimes. And they did nothing.
For Manley, this case is a bit of deja vu. He was the lead attorney in the recent $500 million settlement reached with Michigan State University, which was accused of enabling years of sexual abuse of hundreds of female athletes by campus doctor Larry Nassar. The USC scandal has so far brought down the president, Max Nikias, who resigned last week. Nikias was a prolific fundraiser and increased the school's ties with China. In a statement, a member of the Board of Trustees said, "We have heard the message that something is broken and that urgent and profound actions are needed. We will rebuild our culture to reflect an environment in which safety and transparency are of paramount importance." So far, more than a dozen lawsuits have been filed against USC by alleged victims of George Tyndall, and many more are expected to step forward. Whether the cases go to trial or are settled remains to be seen. But in this day and age of the Time's Up and Me Too movements against sexual harassment and abuse, this latest scandal at USC is not the first and very likely will not be the last. Mei Lee, CGTN, Los Angeles.